Narrator. The wise gain direct experiential knowledge from this timeless tale of Nachiketa and his dialogue with the master of death, Yama. And this allows one to attain the glory of living in spiritual awareness. Those who, full of devotion, recite this supreme mystery at a spiritual gathering are fit for eternal life. They are indeed fit for eternal life. Master of Death, Yama. The ever-present Lord pierced the senses, and they turned outward. Thus we look to the world outside and see not the self within us. A sage is one who withdrew his senses from the world of change, and seeking immortality, looked within and beheld the changeless and deathless self. The ignorant run after sense pleasures and fall into the widespread net of death. But the wise know the self as deathless and know the changeless in the world of change. That through which one enjoys form, taste, smell, sound, touch, and sexual union is the self. Can there be anything not known to that, which is the one in all? No one, no all. That through which one enjoys the waking and sleeping states is the self. To know that as Brahman, as absolute consciousness, is to go beyond sorrow and suffering. Those who know the self as enjoyer of the honey from the flower of Brahman, ever present within, go beyond fear. For this self is supreme. God, the Creator, Brahman, as absolute consciousness, is unborn and known directly through meditation and self-inquiry. Abiding before the waters of life were created, Thee stands in the heart of every creature. This self is supreme. The goddess of all energy, Aditi, pure vitality, mother of all cosmic forces, she stands in the heart of every creature. For this self is supreme. The god of fire, Agni, hidden between two fire sticks, like a child well protected in the mother's womb, and whom we adore every day in meditation. He is the self indeed. For this self is supreme. That which is the source of the sun and of every power in the cosmos, beyond which there is no coming and going, is the self indeed. For this self is supreme. What is here is also there. What is there, also here. One who sees multiplicity and not the one indivisible self must wander on and on from death to death. Only the one-pointed mind attains the natural state of purity and abides in unity. There is nothing but the self. He who sees multiplicity, but not the one indivisible self, Atman, must wander on and on from death to death. That beingness, enshrined in the heart, ruler of time, past and future, to feel that presence is to go beyond all fear. That indeed is the self. For this self is supreme. That beingness, a flame without smoke, ruler of time, past and future, the same on this day as tomorrow, is indeed the self. For this self is supreme. As the rain on the mountain peak runs off the slopes on all sides, so those who see only the seeming multiplicity of life run after things on every side. As pure water poured into pure water becomes the very same, so does the self of the illumined one, Nachiketa, become one with the absolute consciousness, Brahman. There are inner gateways filled with holiness. They are ruled by the unborn self, whose light forever shines. They go beyond sorrow who meditate on the self and are freed from the cycle of birth and death. For this self is supreme. The self is the sun shining in the sky, the wind blowing in space, the fire at the altar, and in the home, the guest. The self dwells in human beings, in celestials, in truth, and in the vast firmament, in the fish born in the water, the plant growing in the earth, the river flowing down from the mountain. For this self is supreme. The adorable one who is seated in the heart rules the earth, the breath of life. Unto that all the senses pay homage. When the indweller of the body breaks out in freedom from the bonds of flesh, what remains? For this self is supreme. We live not by the breath that flows in and out, but by that which causes the breath to flow in and flow out. Now, O Nachiketa, the one who does not decay, I will tell you of this unseen eternal Brahman and what befalls one after death. Of those unaware of the self, some are born as embodied creatures, while others remain in a lower stage of evolution, as determined by their own need for growth. That which is awake even in our sleep, giving form in dreams to the objects of sense craving, that indeed is pure light, the immortal Brahman, containing all the cosmos and beyond whom none can go. For this self is supreme. As the same fire assumes many shapes when it consumes objects differing in shape, so does the one self take the shape of every creature. As the same air assumes different shapes when it enters objects differing in shape, so does the one self take the shape of every creature. Nachiketa. O Master of Death, how can I know that blissful self supreme, inexpressible, realized by the wise? Is thee light, or does thee reflect light? There shines not the sun, neither moon, nor stars, nor flash of lightning, nor fire on earth. The self is the light reflected by all. Forever shining, everything else shines. The tree of eternity has its roots above and its branches on earth below. Its pure root is Brahman, the immortal and absolute consciousness, from whom all worlds draw their life and whom none can transcend. For this self is supreme. The cosmos comes forth from Brahman and moves all. That power of Brahman reverberates like thunder crashing from earth to sky. Those who realize Brahman as their very self pass beyond the sway of death. Because of the self in oneness with Brahman, fire burns, the sun shines, the clouds rain, and the wind blows. Because of that, death stalks about. And if one fails to realize Brahman as their very self in this life, before the physical sheath is shed, they must again put on a body in the world of embodied creatures. Brahman can be seen as in a mirror and a pure heart. In the world of the ancestors as in a dream. In the afterlife as the reflections in trembling waters. And clear as light in the realm of Brahman. Knowing the senses to be separate from the self, and the sense objects and experiences to be fleeting, the wise grieve no more. Above the senses is the mind, above the mind is the intellect, above that is the ego, and above the ego is the unmanifested cause. And beyond that is Brahman, omnipresent, omniscient, without attributes. Realizing Brahman as the self, one is released from the cycle of birth and death. The self is formless and can never be seen with earthly human eyes, but is revealed in the heart made pure through meditation and sense restraint. Realizing Brahman as oneself, one is released from the cycle of birth and death. When the five senses are stilled, when the mind is stilled, when the intellect is stilled, that is called Sahaja Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the natural and highest state, so say the wise. The wise sages say that true yoga is complete stillness in samadhi, a meditative absorption in which one enters the unitive state and never again becomes separate. If one is not fully established in the natural state, the sense of unity will come and go. This unitive state, self-realization, cannot be attained through words or thoughts or through human effort. How can it be obtained except through one who is established in self-realization? That is, a true guru, a dispeller of darkness and bringer of light. There appears to be two selves, the separate ego and the indivisible Atman. When one rises above I, me, and mine, the Atman is revealed as one's true self. When all desires that surge in the heart are destroyed, the mortal becomes immortal. When all vasanas, psychic knots, traumas, latent tendencies of mind that strangle the heart are scorched, the mortal becomes immortal. This sums up the teachings of all the scriptures. The heart radiates vital tracts, nadis, rising to the crown of the head and leading to immortality. The Lord of love is ever enshrined in the hearts of all. Nachiketa, draw him clear out of the physical sheath as one draws the stalk from the munja grass. Know thyself to be pure and immortal. Narrator. Nachiketa learned from Yama, the master of death, the whole discipline of meditation and self-inquiry. Freeing himself from all separation, he won immortality in Brahman. So blessed is everyone who knows the self. Closing invocation. Om. May Brahman protect us both. May Brahman bestow upon us both the fruit of jnana, true knowledge. May we both obtain the energy to acquire this knowledge. May we both have the truth revealed to us. May we cherish no ill feeling toward each other. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.